What would you do if they were your students? Hello, future educators. Today, let's get to know Erik Erikson. Erikson was influenced by Sigmund Freud, but he had a different approach to personality. He focused on how social interactions shape our sense of self throughout our lives. Welcome to the 8 stages of psychosocial development from infancy to old age. In each stage, individuals, you and your students, face a conflict between two opposing forces that affects our growth, and how they resolve these conflicts impacts their personality and behavior. Erikson believed that if we resolve these conflicts successfully, we would be developing psychological strengths that would help us cope with later challenges. If we fail, though, we may face emotional and social problems like substance abuse, mental health issues, gender inequality and gender based violence, child abuse and neglect, sexual exploitation and human trafficking, unemployment, and in fact, poverty. Because the problem is social in nature, there is emphasis on the role of culture and society in shaping our identity and relationship. So let's get into it. Infancy, this is 0 to 1 year. The conflict here is trust versus mistrust. The challenge is developing trust in caregivers and the world. If caregivers provide reliable care and affection, in this case, probably most of the time, it's the parents. The infant develops a sense of trust. However, if not, especially in the absence of a caregiver, mistrust can develop. If a child does not develop a sense of trust due to neglect or constant caregiving, they may grow up with a deep seated sense of insecurity. This can make it harder to form healthy relationships and cope with challenges in life. The next stage is early childhood, and this is 1 to 3 years. The conflict is autonomy versus shame and doubt. Children learn to be independent in this stage and make choices. If they are encouraged, they develop autonomy. If they are overly controlled or shamed, they may develop a sense of doubt and shame. These feelings can manifest in adulthood as a lack of self confidence and an inability to assert oneself, possibly leading to dependency on substances like smoking or alcohol or drugs, or even harmful or getting into harmful relationships. The next stage is preschool. This is 3 to 6 years. The conflict here is initiative versus guilt. Children in this stage assert themselves and take initiative. If their actions are encouraged, they feel confident to lead and make decisions. If criticized or discouraged, they may grow up feeling guilty about their own desires and actions. This internalized guilt can lead to self destructive behavior. The next stage is school age. This is 6 to 12 years, and the conflict is industry versus inferiority. Children learn new skills and gain competence. Positive reinforcement leads to a sense of industry and accomplishment. If they are not successful or are discouraged, they may feel inferior. Do you sometimes feel like this? Children who face failure in school or are constantly compared. I would like to repeat that. Children who face failure in school or are constantly compared. Is this familiar? Because in the Philippines, many children feel that they are constantly compared to others. So in this case, they may feel or they may develop a sense of inferiority, feeling that they are not capable or valuable. This can lead to depression or anxiety without healthy coping mechanisms might contribute to substance abuse or risky behavior such as suicide. The next stage is adolescence, and this is from 12 to 18 years. The conflict here is identity versus role confusion. Teens explore their personal identity, values, and roles in society. Success leads to a strong sense of self, while failure leads to confusion about one's role and purpose. Do you sometimes feel that, what am I doing here on this earth? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What's my purpose here? That is why there is that famous book, The Purpose Driven Life. This is one of the most critical stages where teenagers work to form their identity. If they fail to achieve a clear sense of self or feel disconnected from their family, or society, they might experience confusion, anxiety, or a sense of emptiness. In response, some may turn to drugs, alcohol, or harmful relationships as a means of coping with their internal struggles, or they may become more vulnerable to suicidal thoughts as they may feel lost or unsupported. The next stage is young adulthood. This is from 18 to 40 years old. The conflict is intimacy versus isolation. In young adulthood, individuals seek to form intimate relationships. Success leads to strong bonds, while failure can result in isolation and loneliness. And what happens when one feels lonely? If an individual has unresolved issues with forming a stable identity or experiences difficulty with trust or communication, they may struggle to form intimate, healthy relationships. This isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, or anxiety, increasing the risk of engaging in harmful behaviors or developing self destructive habits like, again, substance abuse. Middle adulthood, and this is 40 to 65 years, the conflict is generativity versus stagnation. During middle age, individuals focus on contributing to society and helping to guide the next generation. Success leads to a sense of generativity, purpose, and contribution, while failure leads to stagnation. This is feeling unproductive. People who have unresolved identity or intimacy issues may feel stagnant and disconnected in their midlife years. This dissatisfaction can contribute to mental health struggles and may lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as, again, turning to alcohol, drugs, or other risky behaviors as a way to fill the void or avoid difficult feelings. Late adulthood, this is 65 and up. So the conflict here is integrity versus despair. In old age, individuals reflect on their lives. Those who feel fulfilled and proud of their accomplishments experience integrity. Those who regret missed opportunities may experience despair or have not lived a fulfilling life. Erikson's theory emphasizes that the resolution of each conflict results in a psychological strength that aids in the development of a healthy personality. The idea is that development is a lifelong process and people can continue to develop throughout their lives as they navigate these challenges. It is important to note that when the conflict is unresolved, there are ways to heal. And two things that I can think of is healing your inner child and Carl Jung's shadow work. How about you? What can you suggest? Thank you for listening.